couple of little things that I wish I'd done in hindsight, and that was setting this off for blasting as well. As you can see, it's badly painted in black, so all I can really do is wash it. It's yeah, well, hindsight 2020. I'll give it a clean. Might see if I've got some black spray paint and just give it a quick coat up on the outside. But as you can see, it's covered in crud and I haven't cleaned this, so I'm going to do that now. This is the decompression lever, and I don't know if you can see, but there is a lot of crud and corrosion all around this area here, and this area, which is brown and stained and horrible, is actually the area where the seal sits, and this is the old seal that looks a million billion years old, and that is just awful. I can't put that like it is onto a new seal, so what I'm going to do is get some fine emery or wet and dry, or maybe start with Scotch-Brite and just see if I can take some of that crap off and get it back to a smoother surface. It's never going to be perfect, but it's got to be better than it is. Anyway, I'll be back. Right, I used some Scotch-Brite on this to help clean it up, and it's got rid of a lot of the crud that was clinging on there, which a lot of it was just dried, baked on oil and grit and dirt. The surface on it is pitted, and there's nothing I can do about that, but I have removed as much of the crap as I could using a circular motion, and it's come up better than I expected, I'll be honest with you. This is an item that isn't constantly in rotation. When you start the engine, when you kick start it, it flicks forward slightly, decompresses the valve and then drops back, so it's only got a little bit of motion, and it shouldn't be occurring when the engine's running. So I have fairly good hopes it'll be alright. However, if it proves to be a problem, it's a relatively straightforward replacement job, and I think I've seen new old stock of these about on the interweb. So if it proves to be a problem in the future, it can be changed. It's not the end of the world. I think tonight I'm going to knock it on the head, but I'm just going to give it a quick spritz with some silver metal paint, and then that'll just make it look a bit nicer temporarily till it all flakes off. But for the time being, it'll look better. Can't remember where I last left off, but I'm pretty sure it was when I was cleaning this up. It was painted black, and it would have looked a bit daft up against the nicely blasted aluminium. So I've cleaned it and put some hammerite silver on it. It is paint, it's not perfect, but it's not a bad match against the aluminium, so it shouldn't stand out like a sore thumb. The only thing is, it will probably start to look shabby in a year or two, maybe. But again, it's something that can be touched up, and if I decide at a later date it's not a big deal, he says, taking the rocker cover off and either replacing this with a new old stock, or get it plated, make it look nice. But we'll see, that's a job for another day. But I'm quite pleased with the way it looks compared to how it was before I painted it. I also sprayed the spring that went with it, which was black and gungy. This hasn't come out quite so well. I mean, it was pretty crusty. They're hard to clean, but again, it's not black. It's not going to stand out too strongly against the contrasting aluminium. So I think I'll put the oil seal in. New seal time. So this is the new one. This is the old one. This one is really shot to pieces, but I'm not surprised given the state of the decompression lever, and probably, I'm guessing this might be the original one. Using another smear of our lifetime supply of grease, which, unless I do some serious heavy engineering, I don't ever see myself getting through it in the next 20 odd years. But you never know. You never know what's around the corner. Right, let's move that out of the way. Now again, like all the things, this is either going to be really easy or it's going to be a struggle. And given the luck I've been having recently, which I will tell you about in a little while, or I may even have told you about by now, you might know ahead of me. far in does this go? I'm not pushing hard, I'm just gently pushing around the outside. Pressed in fairly easily. It's a nice clean casting actually. After it was vapour blasted, everything's really nice and clean. I might just get a socket and just see if it needs a gentle tap. That's seated it. Just needed a little persuasion. That feels much nicer than the old one. The old one, you could just loosely pull the decompression lever out. This one, there's some resistance to it, which shows that it's got some seal. Yeah, that's good. Oh, you know what? I have forgotten to fit my spring. That's a classic case of getting ahead of yourself. I think it's a combination of, come on you, thinking, oh, this is an easy job, I'll just crack on with this, and then discovering that you haven't paid attention. There we go. Okay, there we go, that's better. So the spring resists, pulls the decompression lever back into place. Good, well done. 2 times. I seem to recall this pin was a little looser than the other hardened pins we did. We should just slide in there. Got it? Is that resisting it coming out? Yep, it is. And there we go. It just protrudes like that. There is actually a recess that it sits in. And we'll dry fit that into the head just to make sure that everything's happy before we go ahead and bolt anything down. There we go. So that pretty much, aside from fitting the hardened steel pins into the rocker shaft, stop them coming out, is the end of the assembly job for this unit as a rocker cover. And I've rambled on and I've had to do it twice, but again it's a case of tired, got home from work, cracked on, not thought about it, assumed it's an easy job, and then you go and make a mistake, which obviously not a critical one, but it's a mistake nonetheless, and it's just a lesson that it's very easy to balls things up if you're not paying attention. So there we go.